Fight!
Oh, what a fucking chase down, though. That was a chase down right there.
Round 2. Fight! You win!
Bro, there's no Ken sicker than me, bro. There's no Ken sicker than me. Gotta take a deep breath after that one. Fuck, that shit used all of my energy. Alright guys, so yeah, we're gonna do a match analysis of me versus Myers. Just had a set right now. And I really liked this match that we played. Ended up pretty sick as well, but alright, let's try to break down what happened. What mistakes were made and all that. What was I thinking? Media whiff the button right there. Maybe he thought that I was in range, or maybe he was trying to catch me dashing. Stand medium kick, I take a step forward because he's negative. But then I gotta respect his low forward because I think he took a step back. Yeah. Oh damn, crouch strong because I'm in range. Counter hit. Alright, let's start that from the beginning. Let's see how this plans out. Yeah, the reason why I pressed this stand short. The reason why I pressed that stand short is because he keeps walking up and pressing buttons that are bugging me, but he's pressing mediums. So I know that if I press my standing short, it'll at least get a counter hit. And it's like a comfortable button to press. You're not going to really get whiff punished. The only thing that could have happened right there was either I get hit by a standing medium kick counter hit, or he does a low forward spiral, and that's the more dangerous thing, right? But it wouldn't have been like a whiff punish. He would have had to already been pressing low forward and confirm the hit into spiral arrow, whereas if I pressed a medium button and it whiffed, or it took too long to counter hit him, then he probably would have been able to either hit me or be able to whiff punish me. So this stand short is just a good button to check somebody walking up at you pressing long normals. But notice how I give him that respect immediately. That's the thing, is notice like after every encounter, right? Even though I try to be on the initiative a little bit, the reason why I walk forward as well is for me to regain that ground. If you don't take initiative to regain the ground, then you're gonna lose. You're gonna get pushed to the corner. So the whole point of playing patient is understanding when to strike, not hold down back. It's being able to calculate, put yourself in the best possible situation to strike without getting knocked back too far. Right, so you combat it. Notice that as he tries to walk forward against me, right, again, pushing me to the corner, I check him with that stand short. It's probably another reason why I did that, to check him from putting me to the corner. I'm dancing in and out of that range, right? In and out of that range. And the reason why I'm also staying in this range is because the only way Ken can compete against Cammy on the ground is if he throws fireballs. Cammy dominates the ground, but when I can throw some fireballs right outside of her long normals, then I could somehow fight it and be able to maybe get a little bit of chip damage or a couple of hits here and there, because he's walking forward. That also happens to be in the sweet spot, the range that I'm standing in. Not right now. Let me show you this fireball. I fucked up right there, but that spot right there, right after this there, crouching fears. That was supposed to be a fireball, but didn't happen, right? So this range right here that I'm throwing the fireball, if he throws a medium kick, it's gonna whiff. If he throws a crouch medium kick, it's gonna whiff. And it's the perfect range for him to want to walk up and press a button like that, right? So my fireball right there is going to connect. And that's the range that Ken has to be in order to gain some sort of advantage on the ground, because she wins the ground game, the walk speed game as well. So you're naturally going to be pushed to the corner, especially when the opponent has better buttons. So you're standing here in order to fight back somehow, and you have that with fireball. But you have to be very careful with it, because let's say she does jump. Let's say because she knows that your only way to combat her normals is to fireball, right? Maybe she starts jumping more, dive kicking. That'll open up the ground game for her if she sees that she's struggling with the fireball game because she has an answer to it. And like all characters have an answer to it, but when you do have a fireball character and you're going up against a character that doesn't have like EX bar, you know, most of the time a fireball from this range is going to connect. Most of the time that fireball is going to connect, because it also stops him from walking up at you. So like, here's something that I've realized over the years. When you throw a fireball against somebody, you pay attention to their initial response right after they get hit by it. Whether they get hit by it or whether they block, but more importantly, if they get hit by the fireball, which she's about to get hit right now, you analyze what their movement is, right? What's their first response in your opponent's mind after getting hit with a fireball from that range, and considering the time that there is, considering the bars that there is, you got to pay attention to all that. But okay, no. The observation that I've made is 9 times out of 10, after somebody gets hit with a fireball from that range, their natural human, biological, innate response is hold back. For some reason, just like when you get hit by a fireball that close, you just get nervous and you hold back, walk back a little bit, try to block, right? And absolutely, you got to have immaculate spacing, as Kajudi just mentioned. You got to have immaculate spacing. Only godlike players can throw these types of fireballs. Anyway, okay. I'm assuming he's probably going to take a step back right here. Oh, shit. He actually walked forward. Oh, damn. So that's actually good intel if you can read that, like if you can see that in an analysis video, or if you analyze your opponent and you see that, you're like, oh, this person's probably not nervous about dealing with fireballs. He's willing to eat a couple because he's willing to walk up and press a medium kick right afterwards too. Like he just got hit with the fireball and his response was, I'm gonna go walk up medium kick again, right? And he whiffs it. That could have been another fireball, but I'm standing right outside that range. I didn't whiff punish him because you know how it is to whiff punish Cammy. That shit is it's a huge risk. So you want to be careful about your whiff punishes as well, because you don't want to overcommit to something you're not confident with. Just because you don't whiff punish something doesn't mean that you're not capable of whiff punishing it. Sometimes it's about the risk reward and like how confident you are to whiff punish something in the given situation. Is it worth it? Because I have life lead right now. If I attempted to try to whiff punish that with a heavier normal, maybe I would have gotten clipped, you know, would have been an unnecessary mistake. I didn't confidently press that button to whiff punish. I wasn't looking for it. You take time in these beginning rounds to analyze your opponent's button patterns. You know, take time to just let him whiff some normals, let him press some buttons. You got to deal with it, because if you don't beat him today, you could study that tape and see his pattern and then beat him tomorrow. You know, if you don't beat him tomorrow, you could study that tape and eventually you'll beat the person that you're studying against, you know. But after playing for so many years, you start picking up on habits like that, you know. You got to let the person kind of press some buttons when you can't win on the ground. But anyway, all right, I take a step back. Notice how, like, I'm staying in the same exact range the entire match. So far, I'm, like, literally just staying in that exact range. So I'm not playing extremely defensive, because you can see that while I don't win on the ground, I'm challenging here and there in my opportune moments to challenge. I'm not taking huge risks. Feel me? Gotta respect it. You see. You gotta respect it. You gotta respect those normals. You can't just press a button of yours because you want to. You gotta respect those normals and get some sort of pattern on them. And then when it's the opportune moment, walk up jab, right? And then I get greedy right here. Not only do I get greedy, but I get stupid. I whiff a roundhouse. With a very bad roundhouse, because I had all the momentum leading up to this point. I had all the momentum, even though I'm getting a little bit pushed to the corner, and I am getting pushed to the corner, because that's going to happen. I still have the life lead, and right now I'll take this, you know. But this whiff punish right here, this was very greedy of me. And then I wake up with a button too, like an idiot. Idiot. Well, what else was I gonna do? Why would I do that? But let me see what I woke up with. Yeah, I just did a crouching jab. That was very stupid of me. That would have probably worked if I had one bar, because I would have had the threat of wake up EXDP, meaning that he would block on my wake up, meaning that my crouch jab on wake up would at least put me at +2. So that's something that you could do when you have EX bar. When you're with no bar, like obviously this bitch is gonna press stand short against you 7,000 times. So I should have just held it. I took more unnecessary damage here by eating the stand short rather than blocking the stand short and eating the throw to reset the neutral. All right. The reason why I go for this back strong fierce, right, and I get the counter hit on it, notice that whenever I would say maybe about my back strong fierces connect about 7 out of 10 times when I'm doing them to stop Myers from approaching me, right? The way I'm using the back strong fierce, I have a YouTube video on it. I forgot the title. I think Cammy pictures on it, but it's like how to defend yourself from pressure, right? The entire match, from the 99th second, he's been adamant of just walking towards me. Something happens, walking towards me. He's just making it airtight, pushing me to the corner, airtight, not allowing me to breathe. I'm always playing his game because he's not allowing me to gain back the ground as much, and any ground that I do gain, he makes up for it quickly. And he's pressing his mediums to annoy me, which leaves me in a defensive state of play where I have to rely on just catching him fucking up rather than being able to assert myself, because asserting myself when he has the control of the ground means that I'm going to take a bigger risk, and he'll probably be already looking for that because he wins on the ground. But anyway, this back strong fierce I did because he keeps walking up at me, and I figured after the throw, our life bars are kind of even right now, I wouldn't get stunned from the next combo. So this might be a good opportunity for me to catch him walking up at me, trying to either press a button, which he did, or walk up me and throw me again. So that's why I did that, and it worked out. And that thought, by the way, happens as soon as I was right here. So I don't know how to do the math, but usually a thought like that on your wake up, it should be premeditated. Like, you should already know what to do in certain situations because you've practiced it, right? But I haven't labbed this situation as much as I should have. So maybe if I had labbed it, I might be able to have a better answer than the back strong one that I did, even though that it worked, right? Maybe there could be a better answer that I could do specific to Cammy. But what I'm saying here is sometimes on the fly decisions need to be made in a situation like this, and being able to respond and execute that decision. So from the moment that I'm on this position, all right, we'll go frame by frame. That's 2 frames. We started at 22, right? I had made that decision. And what is that? By the 19th frame? So what? That's 22, 25. But I just want to count this out real quick. Right? Okay, so yeah, that's 25 frames, right? 22 to 0, and then it started off at 22 or 20. 22 went down to 19. Anyway, that's a very quick decision to make, and you got to be able to think that thought, be able to analyze the possible outcome that can come from it, assess whether or not to go for it, and go for it, or don't go for it. You know, all of that has to go on from the moment that, like, I was knocked down right here, and then I got up, thought, and then you go for that executing. You know, those are the thoughts that went through my head when I was in that situation, and I had to commit to that thought. Oftentimes we have thoughts that we want to do within the game, but fear will stop us from doing it. Fear of getting hit. But sometimes you just gotta put your life on the line like that, because that's what fighting games are about. It's never 100% clean, and it worked out for me. Now the reason why I do jab jab short into fireball is because I didn't think that he would want to take the back throw in that situation, because that was a momentum shift from me, and if I did a back throw, then it would have added way more momentum and stunned him, and he would have been in the corner. So I figured he might try to wake up tech or wake up press a button, so I went for the jab 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 stand short, or jab jab stand short fireball. I get to reset the neutral, right? I backdash to reset that position that I want to be in. Notice how I immediately walk back up and get in that position, right? See that? Before I jump, check it. Okay, as soon as I do that backdash, because I didn't like the position that I was in with my fireball, I walk up and get right back in this range that I want to be in, where I could throw another fireball, and he has to react to it, get hit by it, or block it. And I'm also in the perfect space for his dive kick. So while I'm faking fireball, while I'm just staying in that constant position over and over again, I have the threat of faking that fireball. Because you'll see me do sometimes, I'm like wiggling the stick. That's to fake my fireball in this range where I'm doing the fireball in order to get him to waste that EX bar dive kick or to jump, and I could anti-air that. and that's like a I don't want to say an easy way of getting damage, but it's like a it's just I don't know how to say it, but you kind of it's a bait, you know. It's bait damage. I don't know how to explain it, but you didn't really have to assert yourself that heavily because you know that you're not going to throw the fireball and you're just wiggling the stick and you hope that he baits, that he catches the bait while you're doing the stand short and then he jumps, right? Or while you're just wiggling the stick. So it's just unnecessary damage for him to take. Well, I wouldn't say it's unnecessary damage because he's basing it off of a read, but I got free damage from it because I just made him fall into the trap. But there's another layer as well. I've been playing in this position the entire round so far. For 21 seconds, I've been playing this position. I now have the life lead. He's been holding forward. He's been assertive this entire time. And I'm the one that's been defensive. This is also another lesson on how to switch up your gameplay. Notice how, like, from the beginning, I've been playing defensively, right? From the beginning, I've been playing defensively. Within that defense, I mentioned it earlier, I'm taking my opportune moments to walk up and strike and walk up to regain the ground to make it less of a bad matchup than what it already is, because I got to fight for that ground. Now, the same theory kind of applies here where even though this was a risk for me to take because I could have eaten a back strong into a 50-50 dash, right? And he would have been able to pressure me. Even though this was a risk for me to take, and this could have been unnecessary damage. However, the third thing is that this was a calculated jump by me. This wasn't like a jump because I was frustrated. This was a jump because I had control. This was a jump because I had been playing a certain type of way, and I figured I haven't jumped all day against him yet. From the start of the round, I haven't jumped, and from the previous matches that we were playing, you know, relatively the matches have been on the ground. But you can see how the ground game has been very tense so far, right? So if I play it up in real speed, you'll see why the jump in works. If I replay right now and play it in real time speed, you'll see why my jump in works, because it's where did that come from when you were playing this certain type of way the entire time. Pay attention. The ground game is so tense right now. Neither player wants to make a mistake, and every whiff is like more tense. And notice how I said, notice how I said I'm like wiggling the stick by going back down. You know, that all that down, all that is those fireball fakes, fireball fake. And then I throw the fireball right here. See, I tried it right there. I fucked up on the execution, right? But then I throw it right here. Because I'm baiting him this entire time. Try, come on, jump. Come on, jump. That's also part of the game that I'm playing. So keep in mind, while I'm doing this wiggling, while I'm trying to make him fall for the trap, I'm paying attention to him walking at me. I'm paying attention to the buttons that he presses. I'm paying attention to everything that's happening. He put himself in a negative situation. Got to regain the ground somehow. He comes at me. I want to check him with my stand short while I'm playing the wiggling game. That wiggling fireball DP game, as a Shoto player, you gotta have that like in there. You gotta have that like in there. You wanna be a godlike fireball thrower. You gotta have that in there. Rolling. That's always there as a Shoto, as somebody that has a fireball that could compete with a character like this. Those are the things you got to be thinking about. But let's go back. Let's see it again in real time. How tense the neutral is right now. The neutral is very tense between us. He's playing very, very good. He's whiffed a couple of buttons. He's whiffed a couple of things. But I'm not really going to be able to punish his stand roundhouse right here, am I? It's going to be very hard for me to whiff punish that because I'm playing defensive. I'm playing defensive pretty much throughout the entire match. So he's taking advantage of that. He could whiff a couple of those normals. I'm struggling on being able to whiff punish just because it's Cammy. Real time. Tense. Look at the little bit of wiggle right there. It's all tense. After I throw the fireball, right? I start wiggling again. Like, am I gonna do it again? See. And the best part about wiggling too is you got to know how to do it. Where notice how when I do walk back down, I also end up in forward to give that full. Like, am I gonna actually throw that fireball? Feel me? Look, bam, bam, bam. That was just a walk back down. But no one, oh, you see that? You see that? You see that? Oh, shit. I didn't do it the first time. That was actually kind of clean. Wait, I did do it, didn't I? Let me see. Yeah, it's very subtle. It's very subtle, but you can kind of see it. See that tiny step forward that I take, and then back, down, down, forward, forward, back, down, down, forward, forward, and then imagine if I whiff punish that. Right outside the range, though. Right outside the range. Let me take a step back real quick, and then again, down, right, back, forward. All of this motion has to mess with his head. And I'm walking back right here because he's walking up at me. I don't like to be in that range. I'm also nervous of throwing that fireball. I'm very nervous of throwing that fireball. See how I'm just walking back? Even though I'm trying to get him to bait, he's not baiting. He's not catching the bait right now. So I'm, oh shit, I gotta walk back, right? But again, notice right here, he does a move that's -3, right? So I have to take advantage. Why did I say it like that? I have to take advantage of this situation because look at how close I am to the corner. He's now pushed me close to the corner. My wiggling was so that he would jump and I could put myself out of the corner if I were to anti-air him. But he didn't fall for the bait, so he walks up and me press stand fierce. I have to take advantage of this situation and at least do something, right? See the ground that he gives me right here? As soon as I take a step back, it clicked in my head, oh shit, he's minus right now, right? Walk up, tiny step forward, wait for him to whiff something, right? Wait for him to do something against me. He doesn't do it, and I commit to the walk-up jab. Okay, so check this out. Okay. Scratch that. I didn't walk up because I noticed that he was -3. I walked up because it had been a while since I had challenged him on the ground. And he had already been pressing a lot of buttons against me. And maybe I caught some sort of pattern. I can't really think about it right now. But maybe I caught some sort of pattern that allowed me to immediately go from walk back to walk forward. Because look, I make that decision kind of quickly. So after I block this, I'm still nervous, right? I'm still holding back because I don't want to get hit. But after only like bam, bam, and then I walk up, right? Ooh, maybe this is what it is. This is what it is. Okay. In this process right here, this walk back down and then another walk back down, right? This tiny step forward that I just did right here was the challenge. Am I going to get hit if I hold forward against you? And because he didn't press a button, I have to respond by walking up. And the reason why I press this jab is because I don't win on the ground. I'm a little nervous. So if he eventually does press a button, I want to just check him real quick, right? This was a very relatively safe type of approach without taking too much risk. But essentially, that's why I end up walking forward right here. I remember it now. That walk back down is a very common thing that goes inside of my head. When I'm getting out-normaled, when I'm getting pushed to the corner, you got to fight for the ground, as I did earlier. Take that tiny step forward. Sometimes you just want to test your opponent. I'm going to take a tiny step forward. I'm going to see if you're going to press a button. And then if not, if you don't press a button within the 0.4 seconds of me being down forward, I'm going to advance towards you because I have to regain ground or else I'm getting pushed to the corner, and I don't want that. walk up jab. And then the badly whiffed roundhouse. And then bam, all that thought, all that hard work that I tried to discipline myself, that simple crack gave him the life lead. And that simple crack could potentially cost you the round because you're playing Street Fighter V, 2 guesses and you're dead. So when you guys are struggling on ranking up, or when you guys don't really understand how to get better, it all boils down to don't make that mistake. Don't put yourself in that situation in this game. Something that's very, very hard to do because there's so much going on. So much going on in the game, and you have to be experienced enough to analyze all those things that are going on in the game and being able to put it all together for a positive outcome, which is don't make that mistake. You see everything that's going on, and you know what it takes to not make a mistake. And all of that could be thrown into the garbage with a single thought in your brain saying, press this roundhouse now. And that's exactly what happened. Right. Oh God, the jump-in didn't work. But notice how the jump-in was out of nowhere, right? The entire game has been playing on the ground. The entire game. Back and forth, back and forth. Are we going to play on the ground again? Are we going to play on the ground again? I'm reasserting this position. Are we going to play on the ground again? Ah, okay, I'm going to jump in. But he's ready for it. He was actually ready for it. Back strong. And I took that risk. See? So those 3 things that I said, right? It would have been unnecessary damage. It could have also counted as me taking the risk and unnecessary damage, right? But the third thing that I had mentioned was that there was a reason why I did jump. And as long as you have a reason for what you're doing, then somebody could be able to have a debate with you and be like, okay, I hear your reason, but here's my theory fighting on what could have been done instead. Or here's my theory fighting on how your reasoning should be reanalyzed before you commit to a decision like that. Meaning study the situation again and try to come up with a different plan. And that's only if your reads are always wrong. That type of conversation happens when your reads are always wrong, when all your jump-ins are getting anti-aired every single time. When all your decision making is leading you to get hit, you know? Because my jump-ins always don't get anti-aired. My jump-in sometimes works, and that also has to do with the fact that Ken has a good jump-in. So, but anyway, you want to do something with reason. You want to have backup for it. If I ask you, why would you see, if I was analyzing a student, right, and I had seen him do this, my first initial reaction would be like, oh man, you had the life lead. Like, why'd you do that? That was an unnecessary risk. But if my student was like, I hear you, but for 99 seconds I've been playing very defensive and I thought that it might catch him off guard, especially since I started walking forward, and maybe he might try to press a button to check me, I would have been like, hey, I hear you. I understand. I've been in that situation before and I can see why you did that. But let's analyze that situation again and maybe see if there was a better angle or a better time to jump. Or I could also ask him, does that happen to you often, where when you think about making the jump in, do you always get anti-aired? Or do you sometimes hit? And on top of everything that I said, the cherry on top is, it's a fighting game, there's human error, and sometimes you gotta jump. Great awareness from Myers right there. And I gotta hold that, or I do EXDP, I jump out. My guess is that I'm gonna try to stay back in that same exact position again. Oh my god. So I do it, right? Get in that position again. I get hit by stand medium kick and I get antsy right here. I get antsy right here. And I go for the run back throw. It's crazy. It's crazy that I would go for that. But again, as a Ken player, you have to take certain types of risks. I think that was my first ever neutral V-skill. I think maybe the chat can answer that as well. That was like the first ever neutral V-skill that I did in the 12 matches that Myers and I played. Like, ever. I don't think I ever did a neutral V-skill before that. So you gotta sometimes bring out some random stuff, something that he might not be looking for and he reacts late to. So I catch him with that. I don't know how the hell that jump dive kick worked. But see, this is bad of me. This is very bad for me to do this. You know why? It's very bad for me to do this because if this was tournament, I could have potentially lost out on qualifying for top 8 or winning the tournament because of a mistake like this. And this mistake happened because I have not labbed the situation where if I do back throw, dash up, stand fierce, could Cammy wake up dive kick if I don't do it immediately, right? Maybe if I had done a medium kick, that might have caught. But I don't know. But what I am saying is, this right here is all my fault for getting hit. And if I lost because of this, then my duty is to go back into the lab, test the situation out, and figure out some sort of answer or figure out the best possible thing for me to do after I throw the back throw and he's already in V-trigger. See what I'm saying? So there's two things that I'm looking for when I lab a situation like this next time. It's number one, after back throw and he's already in V-trigger, if he tries to do the jump dive kick the way that he did right here, is there a specific thing that I could do that could help me anti-air that jump dive kick? Is there a specific thing that I could do that doesn't require as much risk? Probably not. It would probably have to be me reacting and doing DP. But my job is to at least try to find every single possible thing that I could do to beat out the thing that I got hit with. If there's nothing that I could do that could beat out, and usually there always is, it just requires a lot of fucking risk and like very dangerous risks. For example, mine might be I have to react to that and quickly do medium DP. But there could be so many other things that could happen in the match, right? So you want to try to find the best possible option to beat out that specific thing that you got hit with. And number two is if the thing that requires me to beat it out is too risky in a situation like this, what's the best possible position I should put myself in to not have to deal with it? So that's something that I would have to do. Now he does the backdash right here. I think this is to control the ground against me because I don't have the life lead, meaning I got to take the risk. As you see right there, you know, since I don't have the life lead and I want to activate my V-trigger, I'm a little antsy on that roundhouse, and he has a perfect dive kick right here. Gets right in range of that, and then eventually goes for the for the dive kick. Now, if I was patient enough to think that maybe Myers is going to overextend himself to try to get the kill, if I had waited literally like 5 frames, I would have been able to anti-air that with my medium DP, switch sides, put him in the corner. But again, just one of those decisions where he made the right decision, I made the wrong decision, and if I had waited literally not even a second to just be a little patient and willing to look out for a mistake rather than being scared, then I probably could have been able to react to that and medium DP it. However, my defense would be that the situation is a very tense one, and you're pretty much one hit away from dying. And you see this happen in every single player where, because of the situation that you're in right here, you panic and you want to activate and you want to do something. And this is very, very normal, but yet a crucial thing to learn how to control inside your mind. But again, ultimately my mistake for pressing that roundhouse and a better dive kick from him. I mashed this jab right here because I thought that yeah, see, my roundhouse was to activate V-trigger. I didn't even pay attention to the inputs, but my roundhouse was to activate V-trigger. But When I got hit by that dive kick, I didn't think that it would be plus. I actually should look at how plus that dive kick is in that situation if it hits that way. It just, because it hit the top of my head, I got like, oh, I could probably press a button here. Oh, yeah, see? We're both 0. But because he has a 3 frame, he counter hit me. We pressed it at the same time. So I was technically right, but Cammy has a 3 frame. And that's just going to beat your 3 frame. I mean, that's going to beat your 4 frame. So you got to be more aware of that, Chris. Next time, if I had done Tatsu, even though it might have been risky, maybe that might have worked. Because 3 frame Tatsu special move would beat out the jab, I think. There we go, jab, jab, and he fucks up right here by not converting. He doesn't do jab, jab, cannon spike, because that would have killed me. And then, see, look at this. Maybe that was on purpose, I don't know, but I could have punished that with, like, EX Fireball, activate V-Trigger, but I think I just was not ready for it. I definitely was not ready for this to punish it. I didn't expect it. Again, if I'm a player that's trying to analyze what went wrong right here, right? Why I didn't punish this. 9 times out of 10, the reason why you don't punish something is because you're not ready for it. Meaning your awareness has to be up, regardless of the situation. Are you ready for any type of random shit to happen? And be able to respond to it accordingly, in the most optimal type of way. Or sometimes just in a type of way. It doesn't have to be optimal. As long as you actually get some sort of punish, you know. The optimal shit matters when you're about to kill or not be killed. I mean, when you're going to kill or not. But in a situation like this where you just need a hit just so you could breathe a little bit, as long as you get just a punish just so you can breathe, raise your awareness up, you know, and the higher your awareness is, you could probably punish more accordingly with more optimal to it. Right, why would I expect the sweep after 2 jabs? Right. But regardless, I know that the roundhouse is gonna, once I press roundhouse, like, oh, it didn't link, but I'm gonna activate into V-Trigger because fuck it. Now I could throw him in the back for a 50-50, or I could press a button for a 50-50. So let's see what exactly I do. I don't really remember. Back throw him into the corner because he probably doesn't want to eat damage from crouch strong, back strong, fierce, run, light DP, super. I probably could have killed right there if I did crouch strong, back strong, run, light DP, super. Maybe I would have killed. I'm not too sure about that actually. Maybe because Cammy has lower health, but back throw right there, right? Okay, what's my first initial response? Now I'm nervous because I put myself in a 50-50 right here. I got the guaranteed damage, but now I'm in a 50-50. Is he going to wake up EXDP or is he not going to wake up EXDP? And he's probably thinking, is he going to throw me again or is he going to go for a meaty? So let's see how it plans out. There's like many options that just happened, right? He only has 2 defensive options right here, which is him to do EXDP, which would beat out everything but a block. Or he would do backdash, which would only beat out a throw. But given the amount of life that I have and the amount of life he has, he could take a throw. So he might think, because I could take a throw, maybe he wants to throw. So the safer thing maybe for me to do is backdash rather than to bet that read on an EXDP, and if he happens to block it, I'm dead. If I backdash, maybe he wouldn't be ready for it, but I could still avoid the throw and be able to retaliate. But I just want to see what exactly happened here. Right, so I go for the meaty because I'm afraid of the EXDP on wake up. Get as much chip damage as I can, stay in his face as much as I can. I'll waste that EX bar as well. Now I'm in this situation. Shit, that could have been game over. If I whiff punished it. But I didn't. Get right in that range. Holy shit. Holy shit. I know he's nervous right here. Oh, fuck that up. I was actually looking for that. I was looking for that light Tatsu whiff punish. You could see it. You could you look at my motions, you see that? See that? See that? That back into down back, that's an like immediate I'm trying to do Laitatsu. And then I react to it too late because I wasn't confident right here. That Laitatsu was not confident. And he fucks up because he wasn't ready for that. The way that I wasn't ready for his jab sweep, he wasn't ready for the random Laitatsu that hit like that. Damn, I legitimately jumped in right here. See, this right here was a life or death situation for me, and I cracked. I figured that again, the jump in might work, and because of the situation that he was in. Oh, this is why I jumped. What am I saying? The reason why I jumped right here was because he had been blocking for so long, right? And look, he's pressing medium kick and walking back low, back low, right? He doesn't even punish me, and he's not trying to take any steps forward. You see, the first step that he takes forward is already met with a jumping fierce. But the entire time I have him on lock right here in the corner. He's not really taking a step forward against me. See that? And because of that, that might make you a little hesitant when you're holding back on the stick to be able to anti-air in time with a DP or a button, especially if I'm already jumping at you. Because you held forward. The second that you held forward, I'm already in the air. So this might have been hard for him to react to, given the situation, and given knowing that if he gets hit, he's going to die. Also a risk by me, but again, a calculated risk. This right here was stupid. This one, I should have died right here. But because he gave me that other opportunity. Sometimes you just got to jump. And this time it worked. See, the first time it didn't work. This time it worked. So if I'm looking at it like this, if I'm analyzing only this round, then 50% of my jump-ins worked. 50%. How many did I do? I only did 2 jump-ins in the entire round. A character that is going to beat you on the ground, but I only jumped in twice. Given the situation that was at hand. You know, before I jumped at what second? What second was it when I jumped? 76. From there, I'm playing a ground game and getting a hit. Oh, and then I tested out by doing the walk up low again. I didn't even see that. Another low. An immediate jump. See, I should have been ready to punish that with EX Tatsu. If I had labbed this, I should have been able to punish that with the EX Tatsu. But this is pretty godlike what ends up happening. The V reversal is the notification that pops in your head that says he's in escape mode. So you gotta chase like a lion. A reaction to be aware of the situation that happened. That's
Round 2.
and that's 1 round, ladies and gentlemen. And that would be 1 round right there. That's how you properly analyze a round.